Suddenly, a shadow flickered across the wall. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She turned slowly, her eyes wide with fear, and saw a figure standing in the corner of the room. It was tall, gaunt, and its face was obscured by darkness. The figure took a step towards her, its footsteps echoing through the empty house. Sarah, a young woman, found herself alone in an old, abandoned house. The house's reputation for being haunted hadn't deterred her, but as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows, Sarah began to feel a creeping unease. She wandered through the musty halls, the floorboards creaking beneath her feet. A cold draft brushed against her neck, sending shivers down her spine. The house seemed to whisper her name, its voice low and guttural. As she reached the top of the stairs, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind her. Panic surged through her veins. She tried to turn the knob, but it was locked from the outside. Trapped. The house groaned and moaned, as if it were alive. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she pressed her ear against the door, hoping to hear something, anything, from the other side. But all she heard was the silence, broken only by the occasional creak of the old wood. Suddenly, a shadow flickered across the wall. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She turned slowly, her eyes wide with fear, and saw a figure standing in the corner of the room. It was tall, gaunt, and its face was obscured by darkness. The figure took a step towards her, its footsteps echoing through the empty house. Sarah screamed, her voice echoing back at her from the walls. The figure raised its hand, and Sarah felt a chill run through her body. Just as the figure was about to reach her, the door burst open. Sarah's friend, Emily, rushed into the room, her face pale with fear. She had heard Sarah's screams and had come to help. The figure turned and fled, its footsteps fading into the darkness. Sarah collapsed into Emily's arms, her body shaking uncontrollably. As they sat in the quiet house, Sarah recounted her terrifying experience. Emily, her face pale, listened intently. "I'm so glad you're safe," she said, hugging Sarah tightly. "I thought I'd never see you again." Sarah nodded, her voice still trembling. "I thought I was going to die." They sat in silence for a moment, the only sound the ticking of the old clock. Then, Sarah spoke again. "I think I know who that figure was," she said, her voice low and barely audible. Emily looked at her, her eyes wide with curiosity. "It was the old woman who used to live here," Sarah said. "She died in a fire many years ago, but they say her ghost still haunts the house." Emily shivered. "I don't want to think about that," she said. Sarah smiled. "Don't worry," she said. "I'm not afraid anymore. I know she's just trying to protect me." They spent the rest of the night talking and laughing, their fear gradually subsiding. As they drifted off to sleep, Sarah felt a sense of peace wash over her. She knew that she would never forget her terrifying experience, but she also knew that she was safe.
Did you like the video? Like it, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. See you next.